how to find out if I'm audible. Channel. And that's new. I can hear sound. I can hear sound. Sound. That's good. As long as there's sound. That means I shouldn't have issues. This is my main phone after all, so I'm having issues. That'd be weird. Okay, we're gonna try again. Yeah, I checked the live, so the sound's good. I just don't know if I don't even know. This is one of my recording phones, so I need to. Because I think this happened before. So I've got 2 phones that I use, and if one of these phones is bad and the other one's not, I need to know so I know not to use it. This is my newer phone, so this one might work, but that's beside the point. No one cares. But I'm gonna probably try and do live less of this, more of this, because the sound should be coming on. So, or not existing at all. So I guess I'll start all over again. If you guys didn't hear anything that I was saying, now you're gonna hear everything that I was saying. So when I do blocks, it's usually the same as everyone else. 2 steps, 3 steps. Originally when I used to do blocks with the SP2s, I'd push it back a bit because the bottom was fresh and it's still lumpy now, but I wasn't used to it. So I couldn't get the same amount of push that I can now with just 2 steps, 3 steps. I do 2 steps and 2 fingers, and then 3 steps and 2 fingers to make that right. I've already measured out the blocks, so that's right. But I'll run through the whole thing all over again. Hopefully, it'll be much better. So get into the blocks first off. I like to put both knees down because I like to imagine that the line is like around here in front of my first knee. And I do that because to be in the most powerful position to push out the blocks, you need your front knee to be about 1 to 2 inches behind the line. So one of the easiest ways to look at blocks and know this even if this athlete's running like 10-0 or faster, know that they could be giving more and they're not, is if you see them in the blocks and then you can see the knee sticking out from the arm because the hands are too far back, or in this case their leg is too far forwards. So making sure there's enough space is big, because when you get into the set you're gonna end up pinching your hip flexors. The back one's gonna be fine, but the front one isn't. And when you push out the blocks, the back leg does 10% of the force, the front leg does 90%. So having a pinch in the hip flexors means you can't generate as much force as you could, which means maybe you're going to be doing 80, 70, which means if you just fix the block straight up, you could be faster just off of that. So making sure the positioning is correct behind the line is a big thing. And then from there, put my hands down on line. Before I do that, shift my hips back, both sides, first with the back leg, and then next with the front leg. I do that with the front knee up though, so that, I can make sure that the legs are both loaded as hard as possible. Something a lot of athletes do is they come out of blocks and they think they're pushing off of both legs, but they're only pushing off the front leg. And even if you do the same routine you do to get out of blocks, to release, if you do this one part, even if you're not pushing off the back block as much as you should be, it's still going to be more than what you normally would be doing, or if you're doing nothing, a lot more. So you can get more force output. But yeah, line up, and then from there, load the back block, and then from there, for the front block, I don't load it straight away. I make sure my hands are ready, and then I start applying pressure with the hips, and that makes me roll forwards. Then you get into set. Then when the gun goes, or decide I want to move, push hard into the blocks like a broad jump, and then drive my hips forwards, and then that's it. So make sure that's all good. Feels good like the other one. Me one. Okay, James. Dragon. Robot DJ. No, I am never gonna switch to. I think you mean right leg first, because it's actually my left leg that's in front right now. Reason being is I've tried it before, and when I do a start subconsciously with my other leg in front, the start's not bad, but I have more control over the right side of my body than I do the left. So, I mean, I kind of evened it out now, but having it so that the left is in the back would just mean my blocks would be worse. Because when I come out of the blocks properly, both feet are low to the ground and I have no issues driving forwards. But when I switch the legs, chances are the other leg's going to cycle up. And I'm not going to be able to get as much push as normally. I mean, that makes sense. I'm not used to coming out of the blocks like that. But I know the setup would be the exact same. There wouldn't be any issues for me to switch legs. But there isn't much reason for me to switch. Because forget the 100 or the 2. Let's just focus on the 60 because that's where the blocks really do matter. There has never been a season where I've competed in the 60 and I did not PB. And the PB was not massive. I did the numbers, and on the Power of 10 ranking system for the UK, where it ranks every athlete in every event and in the country by how they're doing, I improve, I think it's by like 33% every year. My ranking goes up by 33% at least, with I think my recent jumps being the biggest ones. So based off of that, the blocks setup that I have is not really an issue. There's no reason for me to. Hello. There's not much really of a reason for me to have to switch the blocks. If I stagnated, like let's say next season I go run a 7 flat, and then the season after that I go run another 7 flat, I'd maybe consider that. But even then, I'd probably be looking at other stuff because I can really push out the blocks hard. I don't have any issues coming out. The only reason I consider flipping legs is if I'm having issues pushing, which I'm currently not having. So if that day ever comes, I may. But I feel natural with the left leg. I feel more powerful with the left leg. Even when I'm doing gym stuff, I'm not supposed to, but sometimes I could do a clean or a squat and I'll just fall onto the left leg to help me move the weight if it gets stuck. So I have no reason to switch legs when my left leg is doing a good amount of good job really. So I'll stick with the left leg until I think otherwise. So let me give another trick that I have. This is for loading the back block. When athletes come out of the blocks, they tend to just come out and pick it straight up or cycle it straight through. This is something that I learned from Coach Flo. You should check him out on YouTube. I agree with everything I've ever watched him say on YouTube. But I have tried this before, but I didn't think about explanations of why this works. So, very simple. Get into a 2-point. Should I use the other leg so it's more obvious? And forget the front leg. Just push off. Just push hard into the ground with the back leg. And then from there, drive it forwards. Very simple. It's very simple. Reason why this works, and it teaches you how to push off the back leg, is because you very quickly learn if you're doing it wrong. I don't really want to do this with my spikes because I don't want to wear down the spikes and flip them out, but I'll do it anyway. So if you do it wrong, you're going to push out, and then your foot's going to cycle up, and then it's always going to do something like that, and then it's going to land in front of you. When you use the back leg properly, it's push, and it comes through low, and then lands in front of the other foot, obviously. But it's push and it comes through low, because the whole action is horizontal force. The back foot does not need to do much work in the vertical plane. Most of its effort is just horizontal. The front foot is the one that's doing the balancing, where it's like, okay, this much force to vertical so I don't fall over, then we can put the rest into horizontal. The back leg, all that leg needs to do is just try and push as horizontal as possible, because this back leg, believe it or not, is part of the reason why your front knee will drop to allow the horizontal propulsion, because the front leg is going to start pushing up, nothing's really going to be happening. Then as the back leg does more push, the front knee is going to drop, so the front leg can give you all of the horizontal force. So whilst the front leg is producing the force, the back leg is guiding how much force can be allowed horizontal. That's why, if I'm to do a block start, that's why when you see people doing blocks and they come out, let me see if I can do this. They come out something like that, or they pop straight up. The reason why that's happening is because the front leg isn't being allowed to generate much force forwards. Not to say it's not not to say it's not possible, but it could be done way more effectively. Some people can do just the front leg and run a sub 21 second time. Most people can't. So figuring out how to use the back leg is very important. And then if you do it right, you push hard with the whole body, and then just get ready to drive, and then drive forwards. The leg, we move back a bit so it's more clear. Just drop the arms. Drive forwards. The leg will stay low, and if you want, you'd be able to hold the same position forwards if you had a wall. The blocks are kind of in the way here, but I'll show it from here. Don't touch the wall. Let's do it over here. Legs back, and then straight in front. And I'm doing all of that without using the front leg. The front leg is just there because I need to not fall over. I'm not pushing off of this leg, I'm just merely pushing off the back leg. Though if I was doing it with the other leg, it'd feel much more comfortable, because that's the actual leg I use. But you get as low as you want, just push off the back leg. Oh. And you're fine. You'll find that however low you go, your whole body will be able to hold the positioning much better, because it's not having to worry about falling face flat. Because part of the reason why you want to push off the back block is because your body's able to produce enough velocity to allow the back foot to get into the front and switch better for the next step. Stream lagged. Tell me which part you want me to say again, because I said a lot. In the meantime, I'll get in blocks. Let's try another one. I think at that point I was probably talking about the forces. So your front leg is the main contributor for vertical and horizontal force, so up and forwards force, whilst the back leg is pretty much just forwards force. So when you don't use the back leg, it ruins the front leg, because the front leg is going to do more vertical force, because the back leg is what actually allows the front leg's knee to drop. And the lower the front knee drops, the more vertical force you can get by default. So if this back leg isn't working, the front leg can't get as horizontal as possible. So you might end up having a start where you're really low and then you're like there, compared to a start where you're really high and then you're there. And something else, probably, I'm not sure if you heard that part, but I was saying how if you don't use the back leg, you're going to do all these funky positions, when in reality you just want to go forwards. Just forwards in a straight line. That's where toe dragging comes in. The only time a toe drag would be relevant for a sprinter is if they're doing that. If they're not doing that, there's no point in toe dragging, because you're just ruining your body proportions, because your body doesn't want a toe drag, because you're not low enough to low enough to need to toe drag. And if you're not low enough to need to toe dragging is just slowing you down for no reason. Toe drag is a byproduct, not the end goal. A toe drag done because you're doing the right things is a good thing, compared to a toe drag done just so a coach who likes toe dragging can hear the sound of the toe drag, or so you can sink down low and you're not really pushing because you're toe dragging. You're just dropping your hips for no reason. So yeah, that's probably it. Thanks. Appreciate that, Nectar. What else? Oh yeah. Another thing with the blocks, let me get a pillow. Is something people tend to neglect: your arms. So your arms play a vital role in how your body moves, whether that's like a one-step sprint or like a marathon, ultra marathon, doesn't matter. But it's very important for the sprints, because the arms guide the legs, not the other way around. You could have great legs, but your arms aren't going to be doing much. But if your arms are doing a lot, you can do a lot. And what I mean when I say that is, you could have really strong legs, but if your arms aren't moving effectively for your body type, you're not going to be producing much force. That's why you could have a gold medalist in Olympic weightlifting for whatever class, or a powerlifter or a bodybuilder, and obviously their legs are way stronger than a sprinter's is. But if you just forget rate of force development or anything that focuses on like tendon capabilities and stuff like that, the reason why a sprinter would win regardless every single time is because they don't know how to use their arms, and that incapability results in their legs usually not moving well, and then that means that their arms also aren't moving well, and it's a cycle. There's a saying in boxing which is fast legs generate fast arms, which generate fast legs, which obviously will generate fast arms. And I'm not sure if it's that way or if it's that way around, but regardless, you need to have everything fast and efficient and effective so it can all work well. So when you're coming out of the blocks, it's the same thing. You don't really want to push out and then do something like this and then split, or just hang and then split, or push back and then split. None of that. You want the instant your hands leave the floor to start to split, whether that's up like this or up like this, doesn't matter. But in the arms, especially the front arm, it needs to drive up, because the front arm is controlling the back leg. And as you come out of the blocks and your hips are in front, or second, you come out of the blocks and the front leg is no longer on the blocks, this is the most important arm, because this is the arm that's going to make sure that this back leg, which is now in front, drives back hard, so the next step can be just as powerful. So when you come out, you don't want to be, you want it to be instantly. You want to instantly switch. So something else you can also practice. Sometimes it might feel uncomfortable because your body is not used to it. So I can probably do it first try, but you might end up doing something like this. Let's see if I can do it. Notice how my body was kind of curved? That happens when the arms move super quick and the legs can't keep up. It's just coordination, a lack of coordination. When you don't have the coordination to move your arms and legs in the same time, one of them's gonna lag, and that can happen. That's like a lot of reasons come into why a sprinter doesn't come out in a straight line like this, instead of coming out like that. But that's a big one. That's an easy one to make any sprinter end up doing, because it's very easy to tell an athlete move the arms the second you come out of blocks. Like the second the gun goes off, still on the floor, you want us to start moving the arms. But if the legs can't keep up, it will come out low because the legs are still pushing once the arms are at their maximum. And another reason why that can happen is because your range of motion is not big enough. Sprinting is expressive. It's like an art form. You need to express yourself in every single step. And it doesn't matter if that's violently or what, but you need to make sure that you're fully expressing yourself, which means the arms need to be fully moving through the full range of motion. When you're upright, the arms just stay here. But when you come out of blocks, this is too small of a range of motion. You don't want your arms just be coming to the face. They need to be coming above, whether that's up like that or up like that. Especially the front arm. The back arm you can kind of get away with. That doesn't really matter too much once you get past a certain range of motion. But the front arm tends to just be neglected. Very rare is it that a sprinter who isn't elite will get their arm up all the way here, and they'll literally feel the lockout in their shoulder and the pec. If you're not getting this much range of motion, which means when you're coming out, it's above your head. Check Christian Coleman, Trayvon Rommel, Safa Powell, Usain Bolt, Johan Blake. They all get their arms up above. It's well above their face. They can't see their arms. It's up there or up there. If you're not doing that, you're missing out on free speed and not just that, but better hip extension, which means if normally you come out the blocks here, this leg, you can come out here or here, but it adds up. Even though it's a small thing, it adds up. Well, Sitar, to go from 13.5 to 11.5, you just need to remove 2 seconds. But if you mean technique wise, it really depends on you. There's usually 2 types of sprinters, I like to say. You've got power sprinters and then speed sprinters. The difference between the 2 athletes is a power sprinter has already got a lot of power in them innately, just naturally. So they tend to be good for the first 50 meters of a race, whilst a speed sprinter is the exact opposite. They're not so good in the first 50 meters of a race. A good example of either one would be, you could look at Christian Coleman. When it comes to the first 50, pretty much untouchable, and compare him to Gao Gao or Noah Lyles. When it comes to the final 50 meters, pretty much untouchable. So when it comes to coaching athletes, the first thing I like to know is, which I find out like literally just by looking at you after like you do something, are you in the first category or the second category? Once you figure that out, now I know what we need to work on. So I'm guessing you're male based off of your name. So 13.5 for a man is quite slow. We want to be, by the end of the season, at around 12 dead, and that wouldn't really take that much effort. But the way I'd work on it would be different depending on which category I've assigned you to. There are some athletes who have neither category, they're just kind of balanced, but that's very rare. So if you're a power sprinter, if you get out of the blocks and you're able to lead for like 30-40 meters, and then everyone just reels you in later on, we've been looking at the blocks. Chances are, if that's the case, your blocks, the power you can generate is probably good enough to be running 12 anyway, but we just need to clean up the technique, which means is your front leg at 90 degrees, is your back leg at 110 to 130, are you pushing with both legs, is the blocks angled wrong, are you pushing with both legs but your hips are dropping, are you using the full range of motion of your body, are you using your arms? These are the type of things that I'll be looking at. And then if you're in the other category, the speed category, I'd be like, okay, you do well 50 meters onwards, that's your natural talent, but your technique could probably do with a lot of cleaning up. So we start cleaning that up. We would make sure that they're not using their quads, they're using their hips, because the hips is where all the force is generated and where it keeps returning every single step to be put down again. The hips firing allows you to get on and off the ground quicker, which means you can produce more power. Speed sprinter is just a sprinter that runs off of just their tendons, really. They probably tend to be skinny, but not always, but they mainly move off of their tendons over anything else. So I look at that and I'd be like, okay, are you landing with your foot out in front of you? Is your knee too far bent? Do you whip the leg back? Do you have too much stride length? And if you have too much stride length, what's the front leg doing? Do you have too little stride length? Are you more focused on frequency or stride length? Are you moving side to side like this? Are your arms stopping here? Or are they going through the whole thing? Do you move around with your shoulders a lot? Is your neck tense forward a lot like this? Or is your neck just relaxed like that? Do you run synced, which I kind of already mentioned a bit? Do you run on on your toes instead of the balls of your foot or the heels? Believe it or not, some athletes do that. Do you push your hips forwards and do you push your back leg harder than the front foot? Okay, this is. If we was to go off of, we can use my own videos for this. If you was to go for my races in November and December last year, I preferred pushing. Let me just do this in order. Do I push my hips forwards? I do. So when I'm sprinting, I don't just go step because you can see my hips are behind me. I leave my hips in front. So I go step to move the whole thing because there's still some extension I can get. I've been working on that more recently because my coach says my hips drop, and the way I found to not get my hips to drop when I come out of blocks is to finally move the hips forward. So I go feet, legs, then hips. That's my three focuses as I come out of blocks for the legs. So that's how I do move it. So I do push out and move my hips forwards. And then when it comes to the back leg, I used to. For November and December 2024, I did put more focus on the back leg. So when I'm in the blocks, I would drop this hip to load it harder. But I found when I ran my 699, I loaded this leg. Actually, did I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I loaded my front leg instead really hard. And I just loaded this averagely. And I found that obviously I PB'd. So now I load my front leg more because it makes sense. This generates about 10%. This does 90%. So why would you put all of your focus on this leg and neglect this leg? The only way I could excuse it is when you're doing the back leg, you don't put any force in. I did, but I didn't like the amount of pressure I was producing. But once I felt fine with it, I decided to experiment, try with front leg, and then I never looked back. Okay, I'm glad that I helped you up, Omkar, Sitar. But yeah, NR Limitless, that's what I tend to do. Drive the hips forwards, load the front leg the most, but I'm still loading this one. Okay. But yeah, let me give you a time frame. Is it Omkar? Yeah, you could be running 11.5 if you was to not race for an entire season by the end of the season, pretty much. Like from the start of it to the end of it, like you try it yourself in August. If we're going off of how my season goes, like September, October, all the way to August, you could run 11.5 one season. If not, you get there by your second season. It wouldn't take that long to run 11.5 because I believe running 11 is really easy to do. Like even 11.99. The reason why you don't do it is because there's just so many technical inefficiencies. But when most people sprint, unless their hips are locked, like really, really locked and rigid, they've got the power or the ability at least to run an 11.99. But there's an issue with a few different things that could fix that. And especially when you're running like 13, the issues are so big, just focusing on one of them could get you down into the 12s, then focusing on another 2 or 3 could get you down into the 11s. Not low 11s, but you'd be the 11s. And then cleaning that all up would allow you to be preparing to break 11 when your time is right. But I don't think it'd be that hard of an issue to run 11.5. I don't know how old you are, for one, and I don't know how you train on how you look, moving wise, but even still, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. If you're young, just age. If you're not young, it's going to be about the technique. Some easy tricks to brute force your way down into the 12s and prepare yourself for the 11s is get stronger at Olympic lifts in the gym, improve your mobility, specifically around the hips. So just make sure all of the muscles are loose, free. The easiest ones to do with the quads, because the quads are just a very easy muscle to stretch. Just do a reverse Nordic and just lay down there if you can, or lay down as low as you can. The quad will open up. I found the hardest muscles to deal with are the calves and the hamstrings, because the calves and the hamstrings are hindered by the lower back at times. Um, but beyond that, the hips are not the easiest to do, but they're quite easy to open up. And just the mobility alone plus the power, even if your stride length stays the same, you'll be able to move much better. But one of the easiest things to do to pull it off is figuring out how to use your hips to get your knees up, to get your knees down, to generate stride length, to generate frequency, to generate everything. You need to lead with the hips. All the other muscles are supporting what the hip is trying to move the body with. So if you can figure out how to do that, be able to move really well. Okay. We'll do another one. I'm gonna give another trick, which is when you come out of the blocks, you need to drive the back leg forwards as quick as you can the second it leaves the pedals. This is a really hard thing to do, because it's easy to say, it's hard to do, because like you have to push off both feet backwards and then drive this back leg forward as quick as you can before this leg gets down. Because the way you want it to happen is by the time this leg comes off the blocks, and this leg's about to hit the ground, you want them to be like pretty much touching each other, which is really hard to do. But if you can do that, you can save yourself time pushing for no reason and get down onto that second step quicker. I'm not sure if I can do it, but we'll see, because I haven't really got much space. That was alright. It's alright. I do much better when I've got space. Didn't really like that one. I feel like put my hands out too far. But yeah, my blocks feel good. So I'm gonna do a poll with the 7 people here. Do you guys want me to go outside? There's a track, a grass track near me. If no one's there, I'll do it. If there is, I won't. But do you guys want me to go outside and then like do a little sprint? I'll bring my blocks too. I'll put the pole up. If not, this is where the video ends. But simply just go do that. I'm gonna take the spikes off and get ready for whatever you guys have me to do. This may take me a while to get outside though. I'll wear that. Do you stay in London? I live there. I'm not there in a moment. I mean, I guess I'll take that. No one else votes. I'll just go. Need to bring my spikes, my blocks. I have a chair to sit down because there's no chairs. This is my sitting down chair. You can see it. So wrap that. But yeah, it seems like you guys want me to go. I'll just take that. So I've got 2 sitting down chairs. I kind of lied to you, but I've got 2. What's that? Oh, that's my bag. Need to pack this. Yeah, I've got space for the blocks. But this may be interesting, who knows? This is one way I found to store block. If you ever get blocks, to store blocks without having to pay for that expensive bag. Do the blocks upside down. Very simple. Do the blocks upside down, and as long as you've got a big enough bag, which I don't, you shouldn't have issues. And even if you do have a bag too small, she does that bag fit. I'm not even sure which one's bigger. But even if you do have a bag that's too small to fit, just close it up as much as you can. Problem solved. Okay, what else do I need? Okay. Since everyone said yeah, we'll go. Guys, get a view outside for a bit whilst I go outside. Hey guys. Okay, make this happen. Brought my second tripod so I can record and look it over. I'm not sure how well this is gonna go. The floor feels dry, but I know me and blocks in grass, I'll probably end up slipping, but I'll do my best. If the school's there, I'm probably gonna have to leave because it's their grounds, but it's not on the school. I think it's a secondary school. I'm not even sure where it is, but their grounds are off campus, so I can use it. But I doubt anyone's here. It's Good Friday. It's not even term time. Everyone wants to be at home. Only me, the madman, wants to go outside and do blocks. So I doubt there's anyone here. Plus, there's barely anyone on campus either, so should be fine for that too. There's not anyone here. I need to go look on the left. This is where we end, but I hope not. I want to do this too. It's a good thing I'm using this phone to record, I just realized. Because my other phones don't have data and there's no Wi-Fi here, so I wouldn't even be able to record. But yeah, we're good. We've got an okay, there's no one here. It's literally right in front. You can kind of make out the line, I hope. But yeah, it looks like a 200 track. Where would I even set up this? I doubt there's any lines for like where the 100 would be. So interesting. I guess I'll go to the back. Then we'll do over there. You even got like shot put Very creative. Oh, okay, they're all lines. I don't know why these lines are here though. Oh, there's a straight line. Perfect. Perfect. I'll use that. She's not even straight, but I'll use what, lane one? Be here. Turn up the brightness. Okay. So, I'm gonna be over there. Chair's over there though. So, we're 0 on the chair for now. It's windy. Very windy. Go on a bit. One thing I learned how to do whilst recording is my tripod. If it gets windy, just drop it down lower, then it won't be as bad. Which is great. I guess I should probably use some sprints. There's some fun ones. Feel out the floor, because it's not a track. Let's give it a shot then, shall we? All right. What do you guys think? My biggest issue is probably going to be try not to slip, but let's get the blocks. It's really interesting. Okay. Let's see if that feels good. I'm also going to set up my tripod, because imagine if today's the day where I do like one of my best block starts ever. that's the case, I want to know. I want to. I want to have it recorded so I can see. Okay, this setup should be fine. If it's not, we'll find out now. What do you think? Thanks. I liked it. That was a good one. I'm looking it over now. Actually, I'll play it for you guys to see. For anyone that just joined and missed it. Rewind it. Let me look it over. That was impressive. We could do better. I mean, I haven't really warmed up, so I'll take it back. But you could do better on the second step. I really feel like I'm driving. I'm coming out high, but something I find really cool. Let's see if I can do this. So remember that I can just flip the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Hope you guys can see that properly. But watch the back block. This one. Look at this. You see how it's shaking? That means there's a lot of force happening in the front one. Boom. The whole thing's actually moving. But that makes sense because I'm on grass, so it's not as stable as it would be on a track. But I've noticed this since Wednesday. When I push out now, it's hard. As the block literally lifted. And then the whole thing just moved back. Which obviously makes sense. I'm on grass, but for me to be doing that for the blocks, the actual pedals, that's quite shocking. Because they shouldn't be doing that realistically. Because what do you call it? They should be in there stable. There's a way to check if the blocks are steel or iron. I don't remember what it is, but I think steel has more give than iron does. Iron, when you push against iron blocks, it's just rigid, nothing really happens, but there was a lot of shaking. But these blocks that I'm using aren't the same that I use on Wednesday. The ones I use on Wednesday they're made by a company that begins with P. I forgot who, I think. I don't think it's Nerf or Nerf, how you say the name. I usually say Nerf. But regardless, there's not much give in those blocks compared to these, and it's still happening, so got to say it's quite good. Okay, I'm gonna do another one. Whoever wants to speak first, which angle do you want? From behind, from the front, or from one of the sides? And if it's the sides, say left side or right side. I'll wait. If not, I'm gonna choose where. Move that. Five more seconds. Then I'm gonna choose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I want you guys on what is it? That's the left side. So on the same side as my camera. So you can see this beautiful angle. Actually, no, you're gonna see it when I show it. I'll give you guys a front view. Something I really regret is not doing track when I was younger. I mean, I wanted to, but I wasn't allowed. I had to focus on studies. But I would have loved to like do track and be like one of the fastest guys. But from my club, the coach I had, he didn't really coach me properly, so that wouldn't have been able to happen regardless. But yeah, we'll use here. I still feel like, hello Osman Kane. I still feel like the second step could be better. I felt it. It didn't really move. Move well. We had a lot of push, sure, but we didn't move as good as we could have. Let me watch over. Actually, let me show you guys the full thing first. Then let's watch it together. Oh, that's tightening it. Oh no. Whoops. I think the angle I gave was very good. Actually, no, yeah. That second step's better than the other sprints. I'm just being salty. That's it. Or is it? I'm not even sure. I'm not sure if I completely like it, to be honest. You guys had a good view though of how it looks from the front. I'll ask you guys. What you guys in the poll? So for the people that saw it, which one did you prefer? The first start or the second one? If you haven't seen it, I'll show both real quick now. This is the first one. And this is the second one. Ooh, I prefer the first one. I feel like something's wrong with the second one. I don't know what. Just don't like it. I feel like there's something wrong with it. I just don't know what it is. Look at the first one. I'm not even sure. Okay, most people like the first one. I think it might be because the blocks moved back. And we pushed them back in front for the second one. Because there's still a lot of force, but on a look, there isn't that big of a difference. Though I am higher. I can see that I'm much higher in the second one. By the time I get to the, what is it, third, fourth step? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. If I'm about to do the fourth step, I'm much higher than I am when I'm doing the blocks in the first one, I think. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, much higher. Something else is when I'm pushing out, I'm trying to really get a lot of hip extension. And sometimes for the second step, I do that slow because I'm using the, what you call it, my glutes. You can use your glutes for the first step, and the glutes are powerful, but you can use it because you're naturally going to be slow out of the first step. You have the time, but as you start to build speed, you have less time to use your glutes. So me using my glutes on step 3, well, step 2, 3, 4, 5 and onwards is kind of counterintuitive, sorry, because I'm already moving too quick to actively use them properly. So that might be why, but I'll keep doing some more practice runs without blocks, so you guys can watch some of those. Once I get it good, if I get it good, I'll go back into the blocks. If not, we're gonna end the videos, well, the live soon. something else is the blocks. They were that far away from my foot, from the line. So for the first, when I do the blocks, I have it a step away, and then I put them down. I do the 2-step, 3-step, but they were a step and 2 fingers away, which is obviously bad. So I had to move them back. So that might have been another contributor to why the second one doesn't look as good as the first one. Just some shakeout. That one was good. Quite like that one. I don't know how much else to say. I just quite liked it. One more thing. Okay, that was nice. Take a little break. Oh, new track champion, Osman Kane. Welcome. It's nice to have you part of the team. I don't even know how many videos you got access to. All the videos are gonna be raw though. There's pretty much 0 editing, but because of that, it's uncut, so you get a lot more than other people get. So if anyone else wants to become a track champion, a few notable videos is the Bucks indoors, me trying triple jump, quite like that video. Christabel's first outdoor meet. Sometimes I release some of my Project 21 videos early. Chances are, Osman, when I compete next week on Monday, you're gonna get some raw video of me just talking and actually competing and stuff. For it's like that a lot of normal people are gonna miss. So welcome to the club. You're now a champion. But speaking of that meet, for Monday, I'm gonna give you guys, some people have already said in the polls, actually not a poll, like the community tab, the community posts, what they think I'm gonna do. But I'll give you guys what I think. So I asked what people thought my 100 time and my 200 time was gonna be on Monday, because I'm doing both. You could have done two 200s, or two 100s, sorry, and then one 200, or just my best 100 meters. I'm doing 200s. But I'm thinking we should be looking at a 10.82 on the dot. For the 200, 21.9. If we're doing 10.8, depending on how tired I am from the 100, it should be 21.8. If not, it might be a 21.9, but regardless, it should be a 21. And then what do you call it, this and that. For where I'm positioning, I'm gonna get positioned for the 100. If my numbers are right, first. If my numbers are wrong, I tend to like to come third, fourth. So probably there if I'm wrong, and I'm not gonna be doing a 10.8, because all the guys that are running, they're running 11.1. Like everyone is running 11.1. So not everyone's running 11.1 at the start of the season though. And I don't think anyone's ran 11.1 in my heat for the first round of the 100 yet. So I can't speak on the second round because I do that on the day. But for the 200, easily first. Easy. I've already looked over the heat sheet. Let me track this. I have the fastest 200 meter time of the field, joined with someone else, and this other guy, I think he's a pole vaulter. He mainly does field. He's on the 20, and he did I looked at his times, and I don't think he's gonna be running that time at pt2. I mean, if the wind's chill, we should see a sub 22. If the wind's not, we'll find out, but it's definitely gonna be a PB regardless. But I'm expecting to win that. The fastest is someone else with me, 22.67. The slowest is like 22.8. I mean, from Bucks, I think it's clear. If I'm doing all of these sub 23 times, which are really close to what I was doing outdoors, usually in bad lanes, or just a bad track, indoors, then you can imagine what's gonna happen outdoors. Because if you go off the numbers, how it's always been, my fastest time at Lee Valley in January ends up being, or my fastest time by the time I've competed at Lee Valley in January for the 200, that ends up being my 200 PB if you remove a second, at least. Like last season, I did 23.97 indoors. I think it was at Luca, and then I ended up running 22.76 to open. So it's always been at least a second. And if you go back another season, I did 24.28 in January at London Hill Games at Lee Valley, and then I opened up at Lee Valley on the 5th of April, same season, with a 23.28. So it's always been at least a second, if not dead on. And as you can probably notice, the gap's getting bigger. We went from 1 second to 1.2 seconds to who knows what this time. But realistically, we should be looking at 21. So I'm excited for that. Because if we are correct, that means we need less than a second to hit that target of 21 dead. which would actually mean I could do something quite good at Bucks, because this is my only open, I believe, of the entire season that I plan on running, because my schedule's really jam-packed. But I'm expecting to do something really good at pt2 and the 200. For the 100, if the blocks are good, which they have been, we should be dipping sub 11 regardless, because it doesn't make sense. How is it that we broke 7 in the 60, but we can't break 11 in the 100? That wouldn't make sense. It's harder to break 7 than it is to break 11. You've got people with like a 7.2 or a 7.1 running like 10.8. And if not 10.8, at least 10.9. So I should be able to break it without much difficulty. It's just mainly been about the injuries, because realistically I should have broke 11 last season, but it's been injuries. But I'm gonna do another poll once I do this run. After this run, the video is pretty much done. Is it harder to break? Wait, no, which is harder? Which is harder to break? Sub 7 or a sub 11? Don't use me as a template. Think about it for yourself. Do you think it's harder to do sub 7 or sub 11? I personally am in the group that sub 7's harder. Sub 11 should be easy. Actually, I'll put you guys even further back, because I'm still kind of driving by the time I pass you guys, so there's not much to really see. So the angle's good. Yeah, we use that. I'll have my side angle over there so you can see. Cool, right? Tired. Okay, good to know that I'm not the only one that believes sub 7 is stupidly hard. You could run a 10.98 and still not even be running a 7.0. So it makes sense which one realistically is harder. Because look at this. Something that I find really interesting. For most people, the conversion between their 60 and 100 is something like this. So if you've got 1.54, 1.545, 1.546, something like that usually. But 1.543 is the standard one. And if you do that against the 60 times of 699, you get 10.7. 10.7. 1.546. 10.8. 10.8 with a 1.56. It's crazy. Some people might even have a 1.55. There's usually someone who's merit and acceleration and what do you call it, the top end maintenance phase. But even still, with something like that, you've still got 10.8. It's basically 10.84. Or let's just do something stupid. 6.99 times 1.56. 10.9. If you're doing a sub 7, you should have no issues breaking 11. No issues. Yeah, Kamara, I agree with you, because sub 7 for the reason I've already gone over, but a sub 22 is actually, let me bring out the calculator again. Sub 22 is really hard because let's say you're running 10.99. 10.99. For most people, the numbers on what it's gonna say, like for a good 200 meter athlete, the numbers on what they need to against 100 for 200, like for me it's 2.02. So running 10.99, I should be running 21.9 or 22.2, which means even still I haven't broke 22, and it makes no sense because it's like 10.99, that's less than 11, so you should be doing a 21.98. No, because a 21, let's use 99, divide that by 2, needs to be running 10.99. The numbers check out or 11. But unless you are a 200 dominant athlete, which means the conversion against 100 to 200 is usually around a 2. So if it's below 2, that means you're a really good 200 athlete, but not so much for the 1. If it's above 2, depending on how much above 2 it is, you're much worse in the 2 than you are the 1. So like my best race was a 1.98. So if you used to do that, 10.99 times 1.96. I'll say 1.98. 1.98. I'm running 21.7. Big numbers. But if I'm bad at a 200, I'm doing 2.1. We are nowhere. We are nowhere near a sub 22. We're not even breaking 23. And you might think something like this is stupid. It's impossible. It's possible because in my country there's one of the good athletes. His name's Ade Adewale. And he runs 6.6. The season before he ran 6.6, because I think he got injured. So the season before he ran 6.6, he ran like a 6.9. And then he went out there, did a sub 1100, did a 200, and he ran like 22.6, 22.5, something like that. Which makes no sense because you should easily be breaking it. Just some people just don't. Some people aren't good at holding that top speed over the 200, or the race pattern strategy isn't as good over the 2 than it is the 1. Yeah, Kamari, just proving my point. But yeah, a 200, I'd actually say doing a sub 22 is harder than a sub 7, because a sub 7, as long as you get powerful enough, you can pull it off, whilst a sub 22, you need the power and the speed endurance to hold it, which means you need to have good technique upright. A 60, you can have bad technique, but as long as you can drive out those blocks and push, you can run 6.99 or faster. But you can't do that for a 22 or a 21.99 really, because eventually you're gonna get caught. The technique will catch up to you. I disagree, Alan, for the reason I just said. Yeah, I should like numbers wise, a 22 dead or faster should be what I'm doing right now. If it doesn't happen, I'm probably gonna end up blaming the wind. So if the wind's bad, I'm gonna blame the hell out of that because I deserve my times. But you're gonna see a really big gap between first and second place in my 200 because I'm leading. It's me fixing the blocks again. Oh. Yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. It's a shame I'm not gonna go again. Well, that's the kind of steps I want on the first two. Because if I was to show you some of my second steps, like throughout the ages, I might do that, like a video just showing all of my blog starts as we go through from my Instagram. So probably be a really crap video, but it's still quite interesting to see. It's a good second step. Let me look at Alan first. Yeah, there's when it comes to that 726, I know someone running 726. He runs a 10.8 in the 100, and he ran a 22.1 recently, but his PB is like 21.7. I want to say. Not everyone that can break 22 in the 100 or 200, sorry, is gonna be good in the 60. Because that guy I'm talking about, he's gone to British champs, he's been to nationals, stuff like that. And he's a 400 meter athlete, which means he can clearly hold his speed over longer distances. Chances are, think about this, Alan, when you go to run in practice, when everyone else is dying in these hard sessions, like let's say a 120 for like 6 times 120, not a really hard session, but when you're running, do you feel tired by the time you finish the rep? Or if you're doing multiple 250s, 350s, or like even repeat 200s, do you find the session crazy hard? Are you dying? Do you need to drop down on the floor? Or are you just standing up, recovering, kind of tired, but you could go again? So chances are you probably are just quite good at holding your top end. I'm not trying to say it's impossible to go sub 22 without breaking 7, but it saves you a lot of energy because you don't really have much effort. Chances are you're very good at the drive and transition compared to just the straight blocks. So you probably do have the power to break 7, but you just don't know how to come out of the blocks properly. That's probably my thoughts. But you'd know yourself better than I do. But I feel like if I was to put you into a 400, your times would align very well with your 200. If you're running a 7.2 with a 22.5, I would guess in the 100, you're probably running 11.3. Correct me if I'm wrong. If not 11.3, you're between 11.2 and 11.4, but I'm going to guess 11.3. Let me see what you mean, Kamara. I want to say the lean in the blocks is probably just the angle, because I'm dead over the line. I've tried I mean, you've been a subscriber of mine for a while, so you've seen a lot of my starts. I used to have a crazy lean over the line, but I stopped that because I kind of just drop out of the blocks. It was very hard to have a strong push. Right here, even if I'm not completely over the line right now, as perfect as I could be, I still feel like right here, like I'm holding a lot of power, is locked in really hard. Like, so when I come out, it's very easy to push. Let me see. And if I move the front blocks any more forwards, it's not comfortable. It's too close. Yeah, that's mainly just because of the shoes. If I try and push off the pads properly, because I can see it and I don't like it either, but if I try and push off the pads toe first, my start is just poor. I can't push properly because when I'm pushing out of blocks, I'm not a toe guy, I'm a heel guy. So if I can feel good contact with my heels, I'm good. If I don't feel contact with my heels, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'll come out of blocks really low, but there's no push. There's no push. I know what you mean, like, let's see. I mean that gap. But the reason why I don't mind is because I don't actually push off of the balls of my foot. I push right off of here. So when I'm pushing, I could effectively leave the blocks without my toes ever dropping down. but I don't. Oh, wait, it's that way. But I don't really have an issue because I'm literally pushing off of my midfoot. So when I go to push, the whole thing just moves. If I was a toe guy, I would have an issue with that. But because if I'm a toe guy, my foot not being on the pedals means I need to drop down like this and then push. But I'm already pushing. But the second you start to see force, I instantly start pushing from my midfoot. Because if I was going toe, the whole thing would have to drop down, and then I'd have the same issue that I have when I push with the toes first. The toes are the last thing I push with, really, just to get me that little flick off the foot, to release the extra tension in my tendons. But I like to push like that because I get all of the force in my Achilles, and then right as I'm coming out, I get to do a little flick off the foot right here, because you see it's like 90 degrees, flick, it goes out at 90 degrees, and then all the force effectively gets pushed into blocks, and I'm happy. But yeah, it's really preference. If you are good pushing, if you're good pushing off the blocks from your toes, it doesn't make sense to push from the heel. But I personally find heels way better, because it's like Usain Bolt, for example. He pushed off the toes. I don't know how he does it. I tried it. It doesn't work for me because I just can't hold the force. Because I think the issue is it's all about loading the Achilles. People load the Achilles different ways, and if you can load the Achilles with the calf, well, not the calf, sorry. If you can load the Achilles with the balls of your foot, most likely you push really hard into the blocks and your heel drops, but it doesn't touch the blocks, or if it does, it's barely. Whereas if you're heel first, you just, like me, you're a simpleton. It's like, I need to load the Achilles. I'm just going to push hard at the heel and force the Achilles to load. Thanks, Alan. I want to run a sub 10.5 because that's the whole point of Pro 21 is 21 dead and 10.4. But I'm not sure, because it's not just the start. The start might be good enough to do a 10.5, but is it quick enough? Like, I don't think my RFD's good enough for a 10.5 yet. We'll see, because like, if I run like a 10.7 to open with, then we'd be like, okay, just keep running, and eventually a 10.5 is gonna pop out somewhere or faster. But I don't think my RFD is good enough to do a 10.5. And then my techniques changed recently, as anyone has seen my recent videos has noticed. And I feel like I can clean some stuff up. We're way smoother out at the start. We go through my phases way smoother than we were last year or at any point last season, or even this season, in fact. But I feel like there's a few more points that we can teach myself to really get the start going good. But until we can pull that off, it's whatever. But yeah, this is a live stream, this is a video, however you want to call it. The goals for Monday is going to be 10.82, 21.9, maybe a 21.8. I would check my phone to see what I did at Lee Valley for indoors, but I can't because then the stream is going to end, so I couldn't even have to say it. But anyone right now, scroll down into the description. My power of 10 should be there. Go look at January, where I did a 22.8 indoors. Look at the time there for Lee Valley. Actually, still for Lee Valley. That race at Lee Valley on Monday at Lee Valley. Next week, we should run at least that fast if the wind is chill. If not, but that's my expectations. Can't wait, because that would mean in one meet, sorry, I'm gonna go from being unqualified for nationals to being good enough to go nationals, like right off the bat, in both events that I want to go for, the 1 and the 2. And it would also mean chances are my 60 is a bit faster, so we could expect something great when we go to run indoors next season. Because as I'm sure a lot of you guys know by now, I am an indoor warrior. I love indoors, but outdoors I tend to be all right. But I do quite good outdoors, sorry, when I open at Lee Valley and the wind's chill. So we want good wind. But I'll see you guys, Monday for, is it a gym video? One of these weeks, I didn't do a gym video, so I was deloading. So if I don't see you guys Monday at 6:30 p.m, So like an hour and 11 minutes from now, I'll see you Wednesday, same time, for my sprints.